Welcome to Subramani. I want to talk to you a little about what happened at GameStop. Well, people lost their shirt and pant over it. Why did they lose money? Because they went short. Why do people go short? Because they believe that the company does not deserve the price and therefore it has to be beaten down, and then when it is beaten down I can buy it back. The share is quoting at 200 rupees. I think it doesn't deserve the 200 rupees. So I go to the National Stock Exchange and go and borrow the shares from somebody else who has it and does not do any actively manage it. He lends it to me, I pay a margin, I borrow the shares and I give delivery. Afterwards, when the price falls down to say 150 or 100, whatever I thought it would fall to, I cover it, I buy it back and return the shares to the person from whom I had borrowed. This is very shortly what happens in why people go short, because people think the share is not worth the price. What happened in GameStop? It went wrong. People went and borrowed money. They had sold. In fact, sometime in December, January, or maybe November itself, the position was very bad. It was 260% oversold. Many people had sold. So when buying started, panic happens, right? You have sold the share at 200 rupees. You see the price at 100. And suddenly you see the price at 110, 120, so you will panic and buy, and everybody else knows that you are panicking and buying, and because the panic-stricken short sellers are buying and the others who have money are just going long, and they are creating a short squeeze. Now these are things which will happen in the market. There have been many players who try to corner silver. If you remember the Hunt brothers, old story, I'm sure you'll find it on Google. So now, in 2003, Mohnish Pabrai, to be correct, wrote an article about why you should not be going short, especially if you're a retail investor. Between my broker and me and my friends, we have identified very many companies which were worth going short. For example, there was Silverline, which was languishing around 17-18 rupees, and then it went to 30 rupees. At 30 rupees, the company made a buyback offer. We felt, at least I felt, that the share was not worth 30 rupees, and so we should give it in buyback. So many people gave it in buyback. After that, the rigging game started, and the share price went to at least 1300, 1400, which I remember. And then, of course, it came down, and then it was languishing at 6 rupees. Now imagine if you didn't know that there was some game going on or anything was happening. Even if you had gone long at 300 rupees and then you had sold at 400 rupees, you would have made money. But if you went long at 1200 or 1300, that was the end of your money. You never got it back. And even worst case, if you had averaged at 800 or 900 or 700, you would have been taken to the cleaners, completely wiped out. So when you know that the price difference between the share at fundamentals and the market price, there is no connection, the only thing you can do is stay away. You can get hurt. You could have got hurt in Silverline going long. You could have got hurt in Silverline going short. Suppose you went short at 300 and you covered at 400, you would have lost money. 300, 400, 500, relentless buying by the people close to the management happened and took it to 1300 or 1400. I think it was even considered being put in the Sensex, I don't remember. Right, so you could have gone wrong, totally wrong. You could have wiped out your net worth, you could have sold your house. That is the kind of squeeze that can happen. So why did I talk about Mohnish Pabrai's article? Is because he starts by saying there are two casino tables that offer the best odds in the house. Nevertheless, on an average, you lose 1 to 2% of your money each time you make an optimal bet. So the probability of making money in such cases is very low, right? Whereas if you go and bet on, like he says, if you bet on the NYSE composite index, on an average, you will keep your money invested and you will make 8 to 10%. So why would folks engage in the practice of shorting stocks? They've effectively placed a bet where off the bat the odds are 8 to 10% against them. So true, because all you have to do is go and buy shares in the market And if you buy if you really don't know where to invest, you have the beautiful index which to buy, so you keep buying the index. Why would you want to bet against the index? Because in the long run, you've seen what happened to the Sensex from 100 in 1979 to about 75,000 now on a total return index basis. That is about 17% CAGR. Why would you bet against 17% CAGR? Why would you spit against the wind? Simply because you believe that you can identify the mispricing. Yes, we all can identify the mispricing. Many shares today in this market are overpriced. However, whatever money you make, one wrong call can wipe you out. Please remember, the amount of risk that you take on a short call is very high and the rewards are not worth it. Like Pabrai says, because there is no limit to how high or how fast a company's share price can go and can rise. Anyone who shorts even a single share of a stock can never stop watching the ticker, right? So odds are very high that I will go, he says, odds are very high that I'll go to my grave without ever having shorted a stock. Same thing here. My broker and I have identified many companies which we said, wow, you will make money going short, and we hold back our hands saying, when you can make easy money going long, why would you make risky money going short? Don't do it. There is always this overvaluation argument saying, I can identify that this company is not honest. The company is saying something, it means something else. I have picked up balance sheets where the company say this much is our total borrowing. You call up 5 people in the lending market and you know that the numbers are fudged. It's a fantastic candidate for going short. However, you can go short at a wrong time. You can get the timing of going short perfectly wrong. I could have gone short in Silverline at 900 rupees, been taken to the cleaners at 1300, and then seen the share price go down to 6. So I could have got my timing completely wrong in a country where liquidity just freezes. So suddenly I would not have been able to get any share of Silverline to replace, and it would have taken the price from 1300 maybe to 1600 just because of me going short, right? So going short is a little crazy. And I routinely hear very convincing arguments that certain companies are ridiculously overvalued. I completely agree with Monish, and it is painfully obvious that the only thing that can happen is the share price decline. But even Warren Buffett has said, we have identified many companies to go short, but we realized that we were completely wrong in terms of timing. However, it's like, again I'm quoting Monish, however, it's not worth shorting a share that trades even at 10 times its intrinsic value, because management can and indeed is incentivized to take certain actions to convert the overvalued stock into a correctly priced one with no decline in price. This can happen. That can be time correction. For a year it can remain same. You might think it is overvalued. The market might think there is fantastic growth going to happen, so somebody else could be buying. Look at the AMCs which are listed. Some are definitely overvalued, but do I have the guts to go short? No, I don't, and I don't think I should. A company can just use the shares and acquire some other business which will take the price even higher. So any of these things can happen. And here he's quoting Buffett, and he says Warren Buffett does not short stocks. The Oracle of Omaha is on record saying that he and Charlie Munger have never been wrong about companies they thought were great short candidates. I could say that for a few of our short calls. They were perfect short calls. But we have always found we're wrong with the timing. Once you short a stock, there is no way to predict when the price will fall. Absolutely right. This is brilliant. You don't know when the price will fall. So if Silverline I had shorted at say 700 or 800, and it went up to 1300, if I had to close the deal, which I would have to, because the stock exchange would say no, you have to finish the deal, I would have lost 600 rupees per share. However, if I could have waited longer, I would have made 700 rupees per share, right? Sorry. So having short positions in a hedge is different, which means you're shorting the index. If you think that is very different, you cannot have a short squeeze on the index. Yes, you could lose money, there is no doubt, but you could not have a short squeeze. Like Silverline could have created a short squeeze if I had gone short, right? And with so many publicly traded stocks and so many in good prices and bad prices, Going short is a horribly expensive way of making money. Read Monish Pabra's letter. It is available. It was written in 2003. The letter that I was talking about is Steer Clear on the Short Side by Mohnish Pabra, published at thestreet.com on August 13, 2003. And that letter is very relevant today after 18 years, because he sums up more or less what I said, but he has written it very well. And he says in the end, a short squeeze is only entertaining if you're watching it from the sidelines. And as Buffett says, why jump over 7-foot hurdles when you can walk over 1-foot bars, right? Shorting stocks is simply a sucker's bet. Don't do it. Thank you.